Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we have the new Qanba Sapphire. So let's open this up and see what we got. Open our side here, let's slide this out. Let's get this top off and it's on there nice and tight. Here we have our instruction manual with all of our details, so keep this on hand. A lot of information here, you'll need this. We have our controller, let's go ahead and take this out. We have our USB to USB-C cable. We have our shoulder strap to carry our controller around, and we have our memory foam wrist rest right here in the box. And that's it. All right, let's get this out the way. And it comes in a really nice box. You can see you get all of your details here on the back. So let's open this up and see what we got. So when we go across this pad, we can see we have all small buttons across the body, one large here in the bottom and one extra large here on the bottom right. We have all of our switches and settings on the top left, our PlayStation button, our display, and our touchpad button here on the right. We have our plastic wrist rest here on the bottom, and this is held on by magnets. You can take this off, and you have all your tools, your switches, and your blank keycaps here on the bottom to replace all your switches on the pad. Your wrist rest can easily be swapped in, and they're both held in place by magnets. When we go across the body, we can see there's nothing on the bottom. You have your clip here for your strap and nothing on the right-hand side. You have your clip here for the strap and nothing on the left-hand side. You have your headphone jack and your locking USB-C port on the top. And we flip the pad over, you have your pre-installed rubber grip, and your strap easily clicks onto the top right and the top left. The lights on this pad, there's an LED on and an LED off. There's a glow and a light pattern button here. The way this works is your button lights are always on or your rim lights are always on. There's an LED switch. When I turn this off, now the rim lights turn on. When I press the glow button, it goes through different patterns. And I can have the lights on or the lights off. But when I put the LED back on, the button lights will come back on. A nice feature with this pad also, if you're in PlayStation mode, you can plug your headphones into this controller. So you take your plug, connect to the top. So once you're connected, you have your mute button right here. So you can turn your microphone on and off, and it changes colors from blue to red to let you know if it's on or off. Changing the artwork on this pad is very easy. The first thing you'll want to do is take off your toolbox here on the bottom. Grab your tool out of the toolbox, and you want to look for the flathead side. You're going to need this, and you're going to need the Phillips side also. So take your extra pieces here, put them back in the toolbox, put the lid on, and when you flip your pad over, you're gonna find all of these plugs here covered with these little plugs. So you're gonna take the flat side, you're going to wedge it in and just wedge and pick, and these will pop right out. Once these pop out, you'll use the Phillips side to unscrew all the screws and pull the screws out. Once you take all the screws out, your metal pins will fall out. So you'll have the top side and the bottom side. Take your controller, and when you stand it this way, pick a corner and it'll kind of lift up here. Just lift and pull this off. And here's your artwork. Just lift and peel this right off. And you can take your new artwork and drop it right inside. Add your top, add your metal plates, and the Qanba goes on the bottom. Go ahead and put your screws back in and you're all done. Open your toolbox, put everything back, and you're all set. So a major feature with this pad that makes it really unique is all of your switches are adjustable. And what I mean is you can have it this tall, high, medium, or low, and you can adjust it on the fly. So open up your toolbox and you'll find a plunger right here. So it's just a suction cup, and all you're gonna do is put it on top of your keycap and make sure the tip is facing down, and you'll see why in a second. Put it right here, press down with your thumb, and you'll see it locks on and grips to the keycap. And when you look at the keycaps, there's an arrow on the top and the bottom. So by default, they're up and down, which is medium, low is to the left, and high is to the right. So take this, push down, and just twist. You can see now it's facing more to the left. When I put it on this keycap here, push it down and twist to the right, and you can see this one's going to the right. So I have my low, my medium, and my high. And you'll also notice this switch is not glowing. That's because I pushed too hard and now it's stuck. Just tap on it, it pops right back up, and now it's all nice and steady and loose and ready to use. So I recommend right out the box when you're playing with this pad, play for 30 minutes to an hour in the low, the medium, the high, try all the different styles and see what feels best to you. And again, if your switch is not lighting up, it's not a big deal. Take your plunger, put it right back on top, and just adjust it a little bit and adjust it back, and you'll be all set. If you're wondering how high these are off the base, when you have it in low mode, it is basically 1/4 off the top. In medium, it's about 1.5. And in full mode, it's about 2/4 off the base. Once you're done, put your wedge back inside, close it up, and you're all set. Programming this pad is very easy to do. Out the box, you do have to remember that as the time is recording, 3 buttons will be disabled at all times. When you open the box, these top 3 are disabled, and this button here is tied to your touchpad. There's a switch with a TP for touchpad and a C for this button here. This button I took out and I placed the cover on top. The pad has 3 modes, your PS5, PS4, and PC, and right next to it are your profiles. There's 1, 2, and 3. So when you switch the switch here, you can turn the different layouts on and off. To program your pad, I recommend you first put your profile in profile number 2 or number 3, so slide the slider to the bottom. Next, make sure your LED is turned on. If your buttons are off and your rim lights are on, you're doing it wrong. Turn the light back on. Make sure your touchpad is down to C, and make sure your home row is down and unlocked. Next, come to the settings button. You're gonna hold this down for 3 seconds. Since your display is on, you'll see the up arrow appear when it's ready. Now, what's really nice about this pad is the light's flashing, the button is flashing. You're gonna go in order and you set things how you want it to be. So for this, where do I want my up button? I want it right here. Where do I want my down button? Right here. My left, my right. And you go button by button and just match what you see on the screen to what you want it to be on the pad. The L3 and R3 out the box are down here. So I move the R3 up top, the L3, I move it right here, and the C button, I'm gonna move that right here. All of your lights will light up. Just hold the button for 3 seconds. And when it turns off, you're all set. You can take your slider and you can adjust through all your different layouts. And it's that easy to do. When it comes to programming this pad, when I first tried to do it, I was having a lot of issues. I couldn't figure out what was going wrong. Well, I had changed the switches out to test different switches before I did anything else with this pad. And again, when you're using this pad, 3 buttons are always off at the same time. These 3 were off. These 2 I changed. So when I was holding this button down, I didn't know these keycaps, the way I put it back on, were kind of wedged and locked in place because the screen wouldn't show me. So this button obviously wouldn't work because technically I'm holding both buttons at the same time. So when you're doing all this, if you run into an issue where this button is not working, you probably have one of these keycaps stuck. Just go through each one, make sure they're nice and steady, and then try it again and you'll be all set. So this pad comes with your MX style speed silver switches. I tried some other switches I had from other pads, but I ended up going with the Kailh Turbo Speed Silvers and it felt a lot better to me. So to change out my switches, the first thing I did was take out my tool. So all you have to do is take the flathead side, go to the right-hand side of your switch and just bend back and it lifts right off. Take off your keycap. So this pad comes with 3 keycap sizes. Your bottom right is a 28mm, your bottom up button is a 25mm, and all your other buttons are 23mm keycaps. So when I put these regular keycaps on this pad, they do fit. You can see the 28, the 25, and the 23. But when you look at what comes with the pad and these aftermarket, you can see the height is totally different. These keycaps here are very short and these are very long because they have the legs that allow you to adjust the height of the keycap. So there may be other keycaps for this pad, but at the time it's recording, I do not know of them. So you will have these with your adjustment on the inside to raise and lower the height on these keycaps. And if you want to use a regular keycap, be aware that it will be beneath the acrylic top and it may also pop off or get stuck. You're kind of trying at your own risk, but it is an option if you want to do so. And there's 2 ways to remove your stock switches. You can take your tool, wedge it inside, and just bend it back, and your switch will lift right up. Your next switch, stick it inside, bend it back, and it lifts right up. Take your new switch, line it up, press down, and it locks right in. And don't forget, your pad has a spot in the bottom for extra switches, so pull out the stock and add your 2 extra switches. Grab your keycaps and make sure the arrow is pointing up and down and the feet are full left and right. Just line them right up, push straight down, and you're all set. And remember, if there's any ports you plan you're not going to use, just pull your switch out and put these blank keycaps in on any of your ports. Next, make sure you tap all your keycaps and just make sure they're all set in place. Put all your parts in the extra slots on the bottom, your extra switches on the bottom, your tool goes back, and you're all set. And next we have the paper test. What's the paper test? We take a standard piece of 8.5 by 11 printer paper, and with this pad, I'm gonna show you it in both directions. So I'm gonna leave the paper right side up like this. So when I put it underneath, you can see this pad is 2 sheets of paper standing up. It is shorter by 1 adapter and not as wide by 1, 2, 3.5 adapters. And to show you how wide it is, you take this piece of paper, turn it sideways, and then take another piece of paper and fold it 3 times. You can see this pad is 1 sheet of paper wide and 1 piece of paper folded 3 ways wide. So why would you do this? If you're at home and wondering what this will feel like in person, take your piece of paper and lay it flat, put another piece of paper next to it, or take your paper, lay it sideways, take another sheet and fold it 3 ways, and put those side by side on your desk in your lap, and that'll give you a good clue what this will feel like in person. So what's it like living with this controller? This controller has so many features out the box. You have your toolbox on the bottom, your adjustable switches, you have your locking cable, your strap that hooks onto the top side, your gel wrist pad that magnetizes to the bottom. You have your lights on your buttons and around the body, your grip tape pre-installed on the bottom, and your MX style switches if you prefer to play in that style. So when using this pad daily, switching your modes is very easy. But when you're first looking up here, there are a lot of buttons going across the top. You will easily remember what is what, but when you first start spending time with this pad, for about the first hour, you will get confused. You will forget what everything means. This button here will throw you off. The glow button will throw you off. The LED will kind of not make so much sense because the LED is on or off. What that really means is when I turn it off, the rim lights come on. When I turn it on, the button lights come on. So it's more of a button lights on or off. And then again, if you put it on off, you can change the rims to be off. And you can do however you want to do it. The profile switch right here is so easy to change. Once you understand, you just hold this down and the button that's flashing, you just tell it where you want it to be. It's so easy. You go around all of them, you hold it again when you're done, it disappears, and now you're ready to play. You switch your next profile, and you can program this so fast. It's very easy to do. When it came to this wrist rest here, I preferred this one. It snaps on the bottom. It does slope down just a little bit, but it felt nice and comfortable. The wrist rest is very tall, so for me, that's very good. I have a big hand. I wear XXX riding gloves, so it gave me tons of space to fit. And I know you shouldn't rest your wrist on the pad, but I do. So for me, it was perfect the way I like to play. The fact that the pad comes with a gel wrist rest in the box, you just pop the magnets off and pop this right on. It was very easy to do. You can even take this off, leave this here, and you can try it out with it here on the bottom. And this is metal. So you can slide this up and try it here as well. Again, it will slide everywhere because it's not locked in place, but you can try it out. For me, so far, I'm not really sure I'm a fan of it. The way it sits kind of at a slope. And also, again, I have big hands. So for me, it's kind of right here under my wrist. So for most people, it's probably gonna be more up here. Because you have a smaller hand and your hands are closer, you can see my wrist sliding up and down. For me, I'm about here. For you, it might be there. But again, it comes in the box, so you can't even complain. If you like it, put it on. If you don't, just take it off. Put it to the side, it's not a big deal. If you like the colors or you don't, it's in the box, so you can't complain. The strap here clips on very easy. It was a little bit of work to get it on there, but once it's on, it does not come off. You don't ever walk around feeling like, oh, what if it bumps or what if it unclips itself? It felt very stable to me. And the controller's already pretty light, so with that on there, just even made it more convenient to walk around and carry a controller that way. Changing the artwork, when you flip the pad over, there are plugs for each screw, and I believe it's 11 or 14, so it does take a minute to just pop all the rubber nubs out. It's not hard. Your tool is in here to do it. When you take your artwork off, you just put the new one on. It was very easy. When you compare the old artwork, personally, I didn't like the design. Just like I don't really like the design of this, but again, it comes in the box. You can't complain. Just take it off and put your own artwork on there. So it's very easy to do, very easy to customize and make it feel how you want it to feel. The big feature being the switch adjustments. When you take your toolbox off and you take this out, you just take your plunger here, and it's a standard plunger. These gloss tips here, you just stick it on, push it down, and you'll see it lock on there. Now, there is a catch. When you're doing this, when you push down and twist and let go and twist, since the controller is brand new, it may be a little tough to do it the first few times, but once you have the controller for a while, everything breaks in, it does adjust and slide very easily. But you do kind of give some force and twist. And there's an arrow in each key to let you know, hey, am I up, am I right, am I to the left? You'll figure that out. When you start playing, leave your LEDs on, and that way you can see to make sure they're all plugged in right. Because when I was doing this originally, I turned one a little too hard, or maybe I locked it in and it was off. And that's how I knew, okay, take the plunger, put it back on here, and just wiggle it, adjust it back, and it perfectly came snappy and loose, and I was all set. But the fact you could do it on the fly and on the go, you can't complain because it's in the box. Carrying around your supplies. If you're going to a tournament, you have your extra switches right here. If anything goes wrong, just take this tool out, pop the keycap off, switch them out, put it back on, And again, I was shocked this little tool was able to do so much. It pops right off. It wasn't even hard to do. The blanks, the way I played Tekken, my thumb is always resting right here. So it's very easy for me just to take this off, put the original right here, put the blank here, and now I have no issues. When I play Street Fighter, I can leave it this way, and for Tekken, my thumb can sit right here, and it was so easy to do, and everything was in the box. So if I want to put it back, I just pop it right back in, go to settings, or change my profile. There is no work. It's so easy to do. This button here, you can make this be your L3, R3, whatever you want it to be your pinky. The way it sits, your pinky is high. So when you're looking at this, it kind of goes up and out. It doesn't really slope down. But again, does that matter? It's on the box. You can kind of figure out how you want it to be. And when it comes to the switches, we're all used to seeing a 16 button pad or numerous buttons on a pad. With this one in particular, it is very tournament-like where you can only have the core buttons available. You will have 3 disabled because they don't want you mapping 2 buttons to the same other button, because they don't want you mapping 1 button to 2 buttons. And I get that, but you will notice it out the box. And I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but that's something you will notice when you're using this pad out the box. Having your headphone jack, being able to play on my console and have my headphones plugged in was really nice. It worked just fine. I can mute, unmute the mic, all the different things. It all was just very easy to do and very thoughtful. I feel like when it came to this pad, they really tried to think of everything, and they covered so many bases, all for one price, and it's PS5 compatible out the box and licensed. You get a lot of features. So what's it like playing with this controller? Out the box, for me, the switches were fine, but I need a different feel. So I swapped those out for the turbo Kailh Speed Silver switches, and these felt a lot better to me, and it played really nice. I didn't add any O-rings or do anything else different. I adjusted my switches to medium on all my switches, and I put my outer 2 switches to high, so that when I'm playing games like Street Fighter, I can find the drive buttons easily on the edge. So let's get some things on the table and compare. So when you compare the Qanba Sapphire to a box style device, here we have the FIGHTBOX M1. This box is special where it has a joystick on one side and Leverless on the other side. So this is a little bit wider, but you can see this is just about as wide as this box. So if you're coming from the box style, this will feel just as wide and as comfortable on your lap, but it is thinner and not as tall, where the box is about 2 Sapphires tall. When you're looking at the buttons here, these are the Qanba KT buttons. These buttons are adjustable. So when you look here, there's a 1, a 2, and a 3 notch. You take your plunger, put it on here, and when you push down, you can adjust it to each level, just like you can do on this pad. And that's what makes this pad special. On here, these are buttons. On here, there's MX switches underneath all the keycaps. You just pop these off, change your switch, put it right back on, and all the switches are still adjustable no matter what switch you put underneath. So if you're coming from a box style, all of your buttons across the body will feel very similar to a small arcade button, and your large button here on the bottom will feel very similar to a full-size arcade button. So here we have the ASI LVL. When we compare the height, you can see the LVL is shorter by about 3 adapters, and not as wide by 1 adapter plus another adapter sideways. And the LVL is not as tall by 1 adapter. So when we compare these two side by side, they both use MX switches. They both come with small keycaps across the whole body. And this is an extra large button here on the bottom, with your home row being up top and your tournament switch here on the top. You have your board here on the side where you can easily pull this off and swap it out. With this pad running the GP2040 firmware, where you can customize all your buttons and layout to whatever you would like it to be. You have your screen, your foam padding across the body, with your foam going across the bottom, your acrylic top and bottoms, you can easily change your artwork. So if you're comparing these two, you want a full-size pad, but not as full-size with this pad. You want MX switches, where this pad has the adjustable MX switches. You want the firmware to easily customize on the go, and the replaceable memory card here, so if you have any issues, you can pop this right off, put a new one on, and your board is back to new. With this pad being PS4 and PS5 compatible right out the box, with your standard layout across the body on both pads. So here we have the Hot 42 X series and the G series. You can see the Sapphire is wider by 1 adapter and taller by about 2.5 adapters. And your G series without the cheap box footsie adapter is not as wide by 2 hole adapters and not as tall by about 2 adapters minus the metal head. When you go across these pads, they both have small buttons going across the whole body with one large on the bottom. They both have their home row across the top with their screen on the top as well. They both have 2 power ports on their pads, and they both have a pass-through port so you can put your booter or your adapter to make them PS5 and PS4 or Xbox compatible. The G series comes stock with your gray MX switches, where the X series can come stock with your low profile Kailh switches or your MX style switches like you see here. When you're comparing the G to the Qanba, the G switches are about 4 or 5 quarters tall off the base, where these are roughly 1, so roughly 2 quarters off the base. But if you're looking at this compared to this, you're really looking for a compact version of this pad here. Again, you will want shorter MX switches, but if you just need a small switch to go with MX style switches, you would have this pad. If you want a full-size pad that's also modular, you would look at the X series. This is their MX style version. It has the MX switches that are about 4 or 5 quarters off the base with rings going around each switch, with this pad having switches that are about 1 to 2 quarters off the base. But you can easily take each module out and put a stick on here, put a keyboard style, and adjust this layout to whatever you want it to be. With these pads running the GP2040 firmware, so you can customize your buttons and switches however you want them to be using the web config system. Where this pad has the programming button here on the top, where 3 buttons will be disabled at all times, but you can program it to be whatever you want it to be as well. So that's the Qanba Sapphire. If you've been looking for a full-size MX switch style pad, you found it. For the price of this pad, you get so much value. You get your toolbox built into the base, you get your PS5 and PS4 compatible out the box, you have your strap that you can easily clip on to both sides and carry it around at any event. You have your wrist rest that has your gel inside. It does have a unique color. I wish it was black, but it's free, it's in the box. It magnetizes right here to the base, and if you don't want to use this, you can put your toolbox lid right here on the base. You can even put this on top of the toolbox lid, and they both stack together right here on the base. You have your cord that locks into the top of the pad. You have the grip pre-installed on the bottom, and with the full size, it fits nice and comfortable on your lap or your desk because it's still thin enough for your desk and wide enough to fit on your lap. When you're looking at the pad, you will see all these buttons, but you do have to remember 3 of the buttons will be turned off as you're playing with the pad at all times, and that is just to keep the pad tournament legal. And 1 of your buttons will be tied to the touchpad. You're getting your adjustable switches. You can easily just take your tool out, change them to the left, the middle, or the right to make it low, medium, or high. You have your plugs in the box, so switches you don't use, you just pop them right out, put the plug in, and you're all set. The programming on this pad, there are 3 profiles. You just slide your switch up and down, and you have all your games set right on the go. Programming is very easy. Again, just hold this button down. When it starts flashing, it's letting you know, where do you want me to put this? Where do you want to put that? And it goes one by one. It shows you here and on the pad where things are now. You just tap the button, it moves. Go to the next, and you set all your buttons nice and easy. Changing the artwork was very easy. There are a lot of screws, but these are metal rails. So when you flip it over and you take off the plugs, your tool is right here to take out the plugs and to unscrew all the screws. And it was very easy to do. Everything is in the box. The cable locks into the top here with the lock port. So when you buy this pad, you're getting everything you need right here in the box. And for the price, you get so much value inside the box. So if you prefer MX style switches and you're looking for a full-size pad, you found it. For the price and all the value you get, you definitely want to pick up one of the Qanba Sapphires. It did take a year to come out, but it was worth it. They did a great job. The engineering looks great. All the features feel great, and everything's in the box. That's the Qanba Sapphire. Thanks for watching.